It's Phagu Purnima, or the Holi Festival today, the festival of colors and happiness. The festival has been observed with much fanfare and enthusiasm across the hilly region, including Kathmandu Valley today. The Holi Festival will be celebrated in the Tarai region tomorrow. The Hindu festival of Holi celebrates the arrival of spring. It is a festive day to forget and forgive, and as per legends, Holi celebrates the victory of good over evil. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Holi, the festival of colors, being celebrated with much fanfare and enthusiasm in the hilly region and Kathmandu Valley today. Nepal police implements a special security plan to block any untoward incidents. The deadline for the publicity for the presidential election expires from midnight tonight. All election-related promotional activities prohibited till voting concludes. Thousands of people left without shelter after a massive fire breaks out in a crowded Rohingya refugee camp in Cox's Bazar in southeastern Bangladesh. And Nepal posts a victory target of 230 runs against UAE in a must-win match at the ICC World League 2 Series. Bhim Sarki shines for Nepal with a half-century. Phagu Purnima, or Holi, the festival of colors, is being celebrated with much fanfare in the capital and other parts of the hilly region of the country today. Revelers celebrate the festival by smearing red vermilion powder and throwing color and water-filled balloons at each other. Holi, the festival of colors, is being observed in the hilly areas, including the capital Kathmandu today. The public open spaces at Jaulakhel, New Baneshwar and Basantapur Darbar Square, including many restaurants, pubs and corporates, have been hosting musical events and programs throughout the day today. The festival is celebrated in the southern part of the country tomorrow. Holi is essentially a Hindu festival that celebrates spring, love and the victory of good over evil. Holi is associated with a number of legends based on Prahlad and demon king Hiranyakashyap and Lord Krishna and Radha. The Nepal police has implemented a special security plan for Phagu Purnima, or Holi, today. Considering any possible of untoward incidents inside the Kathmandu Valley, the Nepal police implemented a special security plan today. According to the Valley Police, special security checks have been held at 62 places in Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur today. The traffic police are also using special kits to detect the consumption of alcohol and other intoxicants. The security department has also urged everyone to remain aware about possible accidents while celebrating the festival. A total of 8,000 police personnel have been deployed inside the Kathmandu Valley today. The deadline for the publicity for the presidential election expires from midnight tonight. The Election Commission has prohibited the publicity of the presidential candidates from midnight till the polling center is closed on the day of the election on 9th of March. During this period, no one can ask for votes in favor of the presidential candidates or influence the voters in any capacity and through any medium. The Commission has also prohibited all discussions regarding the election or to hold assemblies, conferences, meetings, among others. Meanwhile, the election officers have also started to go to the election centers from today. 7 election officers each have been posted at the Federal Parliament and the election centers of the Province Assembly. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. Why has peace process not reached a logical conclusion for 16 years? Your options are A, lack of responsibility, B, power-centric attitude, and C, a serious issue. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. 10 subject-wise committees under the House of Representatives are formed to help run the regular works of the Parliament. On the basis of their work area, the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee is regarded very powerful among these committees. However, the committee has been accused of not playing an effective role in the past. Even as the roles of all the 10 committees under the House of Representatives are considered important, the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee is regarded as more powerful. The Office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, Home Ministry, Defense Ministry, Ministry of Federal Affairs and General Administration, Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority, Public Service Commission, Election Commission, among others, all lie under the jurisdiction of the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee. The committee has the authority to monitor the works of powerful ministries and constitutional bodies and give directives to them to make their works effective. Despite having wide jurisdiction of the committee, its directives and implementations are feeble. The government even ignored the committee on a number of instances in the past. During its previous tenure, the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee had directed the government to include the pointed map of Nepal in the course books, install barbed wire fence along the Nepal-India border, and to make efforts to contain the coronavirus pandemic. Likewise, there were extended discussions in the committee on the amendment bill on the Federal Civil Service Act and the Citizenship Act. However, many directives of the committee were ignored by the government. The directive given by the committee, which is also considered as a mini parliament, should be mandatorily followed by the government. For that, the committee should also make clear its jurisdiction and responsibilities. It's time now for the international updates. Thousands of people have been left without shelter after a massive fire broke out in a crowded Rohingya refugee camp in southeastern Bangladesh. The blaze, which broke out yesterday, engulfed some 2,000 shelters at a camp known as Cox's Bazar. Hundreds of people have now returned to the area to see what they can salvage from the ruins. It is estimated around 12,000 people, most of whom escaped violence in neighboring Myanmar, are now homeless. The cause of the fire is not yet known, and no casualties have been reported. The blaze started at around 2:45 p.m. local time and quickly tore through the bamboo and tarpaulin shelters. The camps, overcrowded and squalid, are vulnerable to fires. According to a Bangladesh Defense Ministry report released last month, between January and 2021 and December 2022, there were 222 fire incidents in the Rohingya camps, including 60 cases of arson. In March 2021, at least 15 people were killed and some 50,000 were displaced after a huge fire tore through a camp in the settlement. The refugee camp, said to be the world's largest, houses people who fled from Myanmar following a military crackdown against the Rohingya ethnic minority. An Islamabad District and Sessions Court today upheld the non-bailable arrest warrants for PTI Chairman Imran Khan it issued last week in the Toshakhana case over his persistent absences in the case hearings. Additional Sessions Judge Zafar Iqbal announced the verdict reserved earlier in the day after hearing the arguments on an application filed by the PTI chief seeking the cancellation of his warrants. The same court had last week issued non-bailable arrest warrants for Imran after he decided not to turn up before the court while attending hearings of 3 other cases prohibited funding, terrorism, and attempted murder filed against him in other local courts located in proximity. Yesterday, an Islamabad police team was sent to Lahore to arrest Imran with the court summons. However, it returned empty-handed after the PTI chief evaded the arrest. Subsequently, Imran petitions the Islamabad Sessions Court, arguing that the withdrawal of warrants would enable him a fair opportunity to appear and defend himself in the case. The PTI chief is accused of concealing in his assets declarations details of the gifts he reattained from the Toshakhana, a repository where presents handed to government officials from foreign officials are kept. Officials are legally allowed to retain gifts provided they pay a pre-assessed amount, typically a fraction of the value of the gift. Clashes erupted briefly between police and a group of demonstrators in central Athens yesterday on the fringes of a protest by thousands of students and railway workers over Greece's deadliest train crash in living memory. Police responded with tear gas and stun grenades to a small group of protesters who hurled petrol bombs before dispersing to nearby streets. At least 57 people were killed and dozens were injured on Tuesday when a passenger train with more than 350 people on board collided with a freight train on the same track in central Greece. The train traveling from Athens to the northern city of Thessaloniki was packed with university students returning after a long holiday weekend. The disaster has triggered an outpouring of anger as well as a sharp focus on safety standards. After protests over the past 3 days across the country, some 10,000 students, railway workers, and groups affiliated with leftist parties gathered in an Athens square yesterday to express sympathy for the lives lost and to demand better safety standards on the rail network. Experts have said the agreement by 100 countries on a UN treaty to protect the high seas is a significant milestone that begins to address an important gap in marine conservation. Nicola Clark, an ocean expert specializing in the high seas at the Pew Charitable Trusts, has said that the consensus was a keystone agreement to try and protect 30% of the ocean. The agreement is a long-awaited step that environmental groups say will help reverse marine biodiversity losses and ensure sustainable development. The legally binding pact to conserve and ensure the sustainable use of ocean biodiversity, under discussion for 15 years, was finally agreed after 5 rounds of protracted UN-led negotiations that ended in New York on Saturday, a day after the original deadline. The treaty is seen as a crucial component in global efforts to bring 30% of the world's land and sea under protection by the end of the decade, a target known as 30 by 30, agreed in Montreal, Canada in December. Mexican night skies lit up with colorful firework displays during Tultepec's annual fireworks festival. Spectators watched from traditional fireworks to elaborate rotating displays during the celebrations. Every year, residents of Tultepec celebrate the patron saint of fireworks, San Juan de Dios, with a week-long festival. Working with fireworks is a tradition that is passed down through generations, said fireworks artisan Arturo Avila. Tultepec is considered Mexico's capital of pyrotechnics, but accidents are common. In December 2016, explosions in a local firework open-air market killed 42 and injured dozens. Welcome back. It's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Nepal have given a victory target of 230 runs against UAE in today's match under the ICC World League 2 series. Electing to bat first at Dubai International Stadium, Team Nepal's innings built around a patient 70 runs made by Bhim Sarki. Wickets fell at regular intervals for Nepal as Team Nepal were reduced to 4 for 59 and then 5 for 68. Bhim Sarki was well supported by Sandeep Lamichhane as the pair added 56 runs for the 6th wicket partnership. Bhim Sarki also added 56 runs with Arif Sheikh before he departed for 70 runs. Arif Sheikh remained unbeaten on 43 runs. Kushal Malla chipped in with 32 runs, while Sandeep Lamichhane made 27 runs. Junaid Siddiqui was the most successful bowler for UAE with 3 wickets. Chasing 230 runs for victory, UAE started badly as they lost the early wicket of Mohammad Wasim in the very first over itself. Aryan Lakra added 93 runs for the 2nd wicket partnership with Asif Khan. Lakra departed after scoring a well-compiled 50 runs. UAE lost 2 more wickets, that of Vritya Arvind and Chandra Gopil Rizwan. UAE, after a flurry of wickets, were reduced to 160 runs for the loss of 6 wickets. When the report last reached us, UAE had scored 170 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in 40 overs. Sompal Kami has been the most successful bowler with 3 wickets for Nepal. Following the conclusion of the UAE tour, Nepal will play PNG and the UAE again in the home series beginning from 9th of March. Team Nepal need to win at least 3 of the remaining 5 matches to retain their ODI status, while all wins will secure the 3rd place and a spot in the World Cup global qualifiers. And that's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 10:30 tonight. Happy Holi!